Alright, imagine this, it's the year 1980. The world is still reeling from the fact that we have just discovered the joy of VHS tapes, and the Walkman is the height of personal tech coolness. There's a group of geniuses in a secret lab somewhere, sitting around a table with big, bushy mustaches and serious faces, and they are about to invent the world's first smartphone. Picture it. The genesis of the world's first smartphone asterisk. One day, after a particularly intense brainstorming session involving several cups of coffee and a lot of very questionable 80s fashion choices, someone says, "Okay, but hear me out, what if we could put a phone, a calculator, a camera, and a diary into one single device?" The room goes silent. The air is thick with the promise of greatness. Someone starts playing with a Rubik's Cube in the corner to break the tension. It's then that the idea hits, a sleek, magical, pocket-sized rectangle that can communicate with people without the need for, wires and telegraphs. Imagine that. A world where you can carry your phone around and it doesn't require you to operate it like an ancient scroll. But hold on. This isn't just about making phone calls, folks. Oh no. The first smartphone needs to change the game in every way possible, even if the technology doesn't quite know what to do with itself yet. Enter the talking rectangle, as they decide to call it. They start with the basics, a gigantic brick-like device that, at the time, looks more like a prop from a low-budget science fiction film. It weighs about the same as a small car and takes at least 45 minutes to charge. The screen is like a black and white TV that only works if you're standing within 10 feet of an electrical outlet. But, oh, it's beautiful. They slap a dial pad on it because, let's face it, it's the 1980s, and we're still obsessed with buttons that click. But these aren't just any buttons, they're the first iteration of what we now call touch-sensitive. Okay, not really. They're more like pretend touch-sensitive, where the screen looks like it's reacting, but you're just really pressing down so hard that it makes a weird click noise. This is the future, everyone. They get a bunch of engineers together to make it do something beyond calling people. A built-in calculator? Obviously. A diary? Definitely. A flashlight? Sure, why not? They also install an apps section, but the apps are basically just a bunch of really unnecessary buttons that make beeping noises when you press them. Want to read a news story? You'll need to dial a long number, pay some telephone operator, and wait 30 minutes for the information to reach you via Morse code. But the most important feature of all is the camera. Oh yes, the smartphone is now not only a phone, a diary, a flashlight, and a calculator, but also a highly sophisticated camera. It's essentially a black and white, grainy snapshot machine that could fit in your pocket but only holds about 3 pictures at a time. Want to take a selfie? Well, good luck. The camera is on the back, so you need to do this weird contortionist move where you hold the phone in front of you and guess what you're photographing. Spoiler alert, it's always your thumb. This amazing smartphone is the size of a toaster and has a battery life that lasts for approximately 20 minutes. But it's fine, people are so amazed that it can literally hold a conversation and maybe, just maybe, send a fax if you're really pushing it. The features asterisk. Calling, you can make phone calls, but only if you can manage to remember someone's number, because there's no contact list. You might have to write it down on a piece of paper, classic 80s style. Every time you dial, you feel like you're the person who invented magic, though it's mainly just the phone's incredibly loud and unintelligible beeping sound. The beeps are a signal of progress. Texting. Texting doesn't exist yet, but there's something similar, it's called asterisk telegrams. Asterisk, you send a text message by using the phone's built-in Morse code feature. To send a message to your friend across town, you type in a sequence of 38 symbols and wait 45 minutes for the operator to decode it. But oh, when the message arrives, it feels like the pinnacle of human achievement. Camera. The world's first smartphone has a camera with a resolution of 0.000001 megapixels, so you better take a picture of something incredibly simple, like a brick wall, or a puddle. You press the camera button, and the phone makes a noise that sounds like a cat sneezing. The result? A blurry, pixelated snapshot of whatever happened to be in the vicinity. Entertainment. Want to watch a movie on your phone? Ha! You have a better chance of watching paint dry in the sun. But you can listen to some music, if you connect your phone to a very specific piece of equipment known as a Walkman, or better yet, a boombox. That's where the future of smartphones will be. Apps. The phone comes with applications, but these are essentially just icons that blink occasionally. One of them is a digital version of Tetris, which seems to work, but it mostly just confuses the user. There's also an app for purchasing more apps, but it takes about 3 days to download and costs you a small fortune. The world reacts asterisk. When the first smartphone is unveiled, people are confused. And rightfully so. It doesn't fit in with the simple tech of the 80s. It's too complex, too revolutionary. People try to use it as a phone, but mostly end up using it as an expensive paperweight or a conversation starter. Business professionals wonder how it could help them with spreadsheets, and someone mistakenly tries to send an email by writing a letter, folding it up, and putting it in the phone's non-existent email inbox. Others try to use it to send tweets, but they just end up making a weird screeching noise when they press the send button. And then, the internet. The very first smartphone does not have access to the internet. You could call someone to discuss the wonders of the World Wide Web, but you'd have to wait until your phone's antenna was in the perfect position, and even then, it's a long shot. The legacy of the world's first smartphone asterisk. Fast forward a couple of decades. The world has come a long way since the talking rectangle debuted. The smartphone, in all its awkward, clunky, oversized glory, laid the foundation for what we now know as the sleek, multitasking devices we carry around today. But let's not forget that first, funny, ridiculously outdated device. It was the precursor to something great, something that would eventually make us all more connected, and maybe a little more distracted, than ever before. In the end, the world's first smartphone was less about technology and more about the hope that one day, we'd have something in our pockets that could help us do everything, except make actual calls. And that, my friends, is how the world's first smartphone changed everything, in the weirdest way possible.